And you were live.
Great. Perfect.
All right. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another special episode of Cinematography for Actors. We are here live at the VIP Lounge at the TCL Chinese Theatre for the 19th Annual Oscar Qualifying HollyShorts Film Festival. I am your host, Brianna Wing, an actor, along with our famed cinematographer, Indiana Underhill, as my co-host.
I like being a famed cinematographer, especially when Bree says it. And we're joined by a pretty cool filmmaking duo of the two Emilys. That's what they go by, I've decided. But no, they are here to promote Judy-ism. We met back at HollyShorts. We have Emily Nash, who is the writer, executive producer, and lead actor, and Emily Lerer.
Did I do it? You did it right. Lerer.
I nailed
it.
Who is the director of the project. And before we dive in, so these are 10 to 15 minute interviews. They're very short and sweet. We like to get a lot of educational nuggets in and hear about the process. I just want to fangirl for a second about you two because we met at the HollyShorts Festival a month ago in the depths of a bar in the corner. And Emily reached into her pocket and grabbed a slice of apple cake that you baked for anyone that you met with a card about Judy-ism.
Yes.
And I absolutely love that because I know apple cake is a theme in here as well. And so it just is so well-rounded. So I'm so glad we're meeting again. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So, before we dive into the technical, what is Judy-ism about?
So Judy-ism is about a Jewish woman who's about to marry her non-Jewish fiance. And at the cake tasting, the final cake tasting before the wedding, Judy's mother, who's a very overbearing mother, urges Judy to taste this piece of Jewish apple cake, which she thinks Judy should have as the cake at the wedding. And Judy's like, what? No way. Anyway, Judy begrudgingly takes a bite and she's catapulted back in time to age 13, just before her bat mitzvah. And she has to get back in time for her wedding. And it sort of brings up all of these issues of Jewish identity and family and love and just the multifaceted nature of what it means to be a Jew.
Incredible. One of the biggest things in cinematography for actors we talk about, in addition to education, is community building, and community meaning the creative collaborators that you choose to bring onto projects. So how did you guys come together for this project?
I was on the internet minding my own business looking for opportunities when I saw Emily Nash's post looking for a Jewish female director who was interested in taking on this project, this romantic comedy. It sounded really cute and funny, and it turns out we share a sense of comedy and timing and identity and really just hit it off. And I'm really honored that she chose me to take on this story, and that was my beginning, and now we're working together.
Lerer is like one of the most disciplined people I know. Like, she's on every Facebook Jewish filmmaking group,
Fantastic.
Which is how she found me, and like just an incredible networker. She came to our first meeting with like a full deck of like what she thought the story would look like, and I felt like she snatched the images right out of my head. Amazing. And I was like, oh, this woman is incredible, and I want to be her friend, and I also want to collaborate with her.
Wow, that's so incredible.
I love this. I love hearing about prep. And so what was, I mean, when you're writing it, you probably have storyboard shots in mind, maybe not, but what was the process like when you guys first linked up? After having it in mind, you already wrote it. What were those first conversations? Did you come to the table wanting to pitch ideas to her? Did she want to pitch them to you? What was that first meeting like?
Well, do you want to take this?
Sure, yeah. I showed up to a coffee shop near where Nash lives and pulled out my computer. We talked a little bit and I pitched, this is how I see it, this is what it feels like to me, this is the world, these are the themes I'm getting. And she said, yes, absolutely. I said, do you want me to show you some visuals? I brought a little lookbook, and I kind of scrolled through, 4-page little lookbook. This is this scene, this is this one, this is how I feel like these characters feel and what world they live in color. And she goes, yeah, great. But I have to, I'd be amiss if I didn't credit the conversation following that for me with my cinematographer, Carrie Morgan, who I have worked with on many projects, who introduced me to Shot Deck, which I utilize way too often and frequently. And we kind of took M's script, brought it into that world where I said, are we on the same page? And she goes, yes. And I will say, for someone who was an EP, writer, actor, in many ways very invested across the board in this project, to really trust me and let us go into prep and then come back to her and say, are we still on the same page, was really wonderful.
I was so eager to just hand it off in some ways.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's always one of the questions I have.
Yeah, I think because I come from an acting world and I guess newly a writing and producing world as well, but directing has never been part of the purview. And so I was just like, and I had already mounted a student film production of this when I was in grad school, and it was not, I mean, we had no resources. And so I was just excited to see what Lerer and Carrie would come up with a budget, like in our dream scenario, and what they came up with was different from what I had maybe visualized, but like I was so excited about it.
What were the biggest things that you did not want to sacrifice? Because with short filmmaking, it's like all about, you know, let's prioritize this over that. What were the biggest things that you were like, this is not going to change from maybe both of your sides of the script?
I knew that I wanted to cast Jewish actors to play the Jewish roles. So that was first and foremost like of paramount importance. And I knew that I wanted the majority of the cast and the crew as well to be Jewish. So that was something that we achieved.
Across the board, we really did achieve it. Our sound designer, our editor, our cinematographer, director, producers, most of our cast, like across the board, we'd sit down in a room and go, how are we the majority? This is really weird and cool and awesome. I will say for me, the thing that was, I didn't want to sacrifice it, and I don't regret this, but it was one of those creative decisions we just leaned into and kept going, was the shots outside that we had. We had an outside wedding, and we had the forecast for rain that we found out a couple days before. It was going to be 2 days of rain in Los Angeles, where we thought we would maybe get one. And so Carrie and I just kind of decided a couple times, came with plans like A through Z, and by the time we were shooting, we were on plan Z, like popping up a tent as the downpour is coming down and going like, okay, we're going to justify the wedding is at night because they're Jewish and they waited until Saturday after sundown, and like, okay, we're not going to shoot by the lake because that's crazy and it's going to flood, but where else could they reasonably cut this cake, and we'll find the nearest spot. And just like the really wonderful group that cultivated together for this project, and their willingness to just trust me and each other and the story to continue forward with enthusiasm against the like Los Angeles monsoon of January was really awesome.
Yes.
And the craziest thing is you watch it now and you can't even tell it was raining, which I guess is the magic of cinematography.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But like, holy moly.
You watch it back and you're like,
you walk it out.
At the time, I mean, and we were like shivering and miserable and like wanted to die.
Yeah.
But
I have a question about how did you crew up then, with that in mind, knowing you wanted, you know, like, did you post certain, you know, questions? Did you word of mouth find your crew that was mostly Jewish?
A little bit of word of mouth. So I had Carrie bring on the folks that she could find. Not all of the department heads, I believe all were Jewish. A few of the crew members were not. But I also really made a point. I worked with Spencer, our editor, on another short film, and he's a Jewish man with a great sense of comedic timing. So he was just an instant go-to. And then we were looking for a sound mixer, and I talked to a mixer and designer that I've worked with, and I said, hey, I'm looking for comedy mixer. Do you know anyone? He goes, I've got this guy, Ryan Felderbaum. And I was like, well, sold.
Right.
And he did such a great job. And then
beautiful job.
One of my best friends from high school, her name is Sarah Applebaum, and she works as a line producer and a first AD and all sorts of amazing things. And she was able to assemble crew members from her previous jobs as well, many of whom are Jewish. And so that was an added bonus as well, and like everyone just jived so well together.
Now, when you were on set and acting, do you find wearing multiple hats? Did you just turn off everything else and
No.
you're an actor? Yes. How do you manage that, right? When it's
You
like,
don't.
After
I learned it the hard way that like I forgot to switch off the other hats or take them off, as the case may be. And Emily had to come up to me at a few points and be like, remember, you're just an actor today. And I'd be like, oh, right.
It's so great to have that trust and that relationship where you can have those conversations too, and
Yes.
just be like a little nudge, like, let's get into this space
Yes.
instead.
And I'm excited to do it again, hopefully, and succeed a little bit better at that.
I think you were amazing, but it's a
thank
little
you.
like a wedding, you know, like she was the bride in many ways,
Right.
where
Yeah.
we put it all together and like, don't ask the bride the questions on the day, like go to the line producer, come to me,
got
do not
married
go
about
to
a
the
week ago.
bride.
Ask the maid of honor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's actually a great analogy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna remember that.
And a multi-hyphenate actor is kind of like a bride on her wedding day.
yeah.
I kind of like this too. I've never heard it before.
And I
as
only
well.
turned into a bridezilla like a few times.
She did not. She's a
But
liar.
it's warranted, right? Because you're the bride.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What are the biggest takeaways you want your audience to have from Judy-ism?
I think the main thing is whether or not you identify as a Jew watching this film, we just want everyone to feel validated in their identity and celebrated for who they are. And, you know, everyone is worthy of celebration, of their history, and of who they love and what they believe in. And, yeah.
Yeah, I think like the truest form of self, like if you are true to yourself, then there is a happy ending, is something one of our friends who came to see the film took away, and I thought that was just so beautiful. And you know, it's easy, it's a rom-com, it feels good, and it's that idea that like it can all work out.
Yeah, this is incredible. I am so happy that internet dating not dating worked out so well, that you guys were able to make an incredible film that is playing at multiple festivals, and I hope to see you guys at another one very soon. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you both.
Thanks everyone, we'll see you soon. This has been another episode of the Cinematography for Actors podcast. Follow us on wherever you listen to your podcast to keep up to date on new episode releases. We will be live through August 20th here at HollyShorts Film Fest. If you're here, drop in and say a little hello at the VIP lounge. We also want to thank our sponsors, Apogee, Film Tools, Roscoe, Lightstone Rentals, Canon, and First Mile Tech. As a special gift to you listeners, we've partnered with We Make Movies to get you a discount on comprehensive production insurance packages. Use code CFA23 on your intake form for 10% off your quote by visiting wemakemovies.org/insurance.
If you missed any of our live streams, you can watch all of our interviews on our YouTube channel, Cinematography for Actors. And make sure you follow us on Instagram at Cinematography for Actors. You can also catch us in a more formal setting on Monday, August 14th at Japan House for a panel discussion on the importance of bridging the gap between talent and crew. You can get 20% off of your ticket purchase by using the code HSFF2023CFA at checkout.
Thanks!